Welcome back to the podcast, Conversations with Jeff Bucknam. Dr. Jeff Bucknam is the lead teaching pastor of Harvest Bible Chapel in the Chicagoland area, and I'm your host, Tommy Creutz, and we are going to have a conversation today. But before we get into that conversation,
we're going to do another conversation.
We're going to do a pre-conversation. Yeah. This is kind of, if you've been following with us for any amount of time, you know that this is a moment where we kind of talk about whatever we want.
We get to have our opinions about the news and video games. And today, Tommy, I would like to know more about something that you left out of your interview when I interviewed you.
There's a lot that I left out.
I found out that you were in the rodeo.
Okay. All right. Yep.
What do you mean, yep?
Yeah.
Were you?
Well, okay. Let me explain it. So I did, I bull rode for a season of my life.
Sorry, wait, what?
I rode bulls, yeah.
Bull ride.
Yeah,
so is that
riding.
the guy, that's when they put the bull in the little cage there.
In the chute,
they strap your hand to the thing, and you have your other hand like waving in the air while the bull tries to get the belt that they tightened off of him.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah?
Exactly.
And you have to stay on for
8 seconds.
8 seconds in order to get to the next one, and then a bunch of clowns show up and try to draw his attention away so he doesn't kill you.
Exactly. So you jump off after, and then they give you a score.
How in the world did you get into bull riding?
It was a girl in high school. Right? So like, how does... Yeah, I mean, how does anyone get into anything in high school? So I did that a couple of times in my high school life, and to...
Bull riding.
Mm-hmm, to try and impress a girl.
So, like, did she just hang around the stables and stuff?
No, that was like her, like, that's, she did that. Not the bull riding, but the rodeo.
Did she do the horse riding?
Mm-hmm.
Like the horse barrel riding?
Yeah.
So you were like, what can I get involved in this rodeo?
That's subsequent or adjacent to that.
And the choice was clown or bull rider.
Figured the latter would have been better. And you chose...
Have you ever been speared by a bull?
Nope, never speared, but I have been stepped on.
Does that hurt?
It does, yeah. Surprisingly a lot.
They're big.
So I actually had to stop because I got injured, and my parents and, well, I guess me too, took my wrestling career very seriously. So anything that...
so the riding of the bulls was getting in the way of the wrestling.
Did
you ever think at some point while you were riding the bulls, I have a future in this?
No, never.
Did you ever make it 8 seconds?
Yeah, once or twice. Oh. I was not very good. It was a short-lived thing.
How do you train? Do you go on the mechanical bull?
No. Okay, so a buddy of mine.
Honky tonk and have yourself some Schlitz.
Well, this was in Wisconsin. And some Schlitz. So you would take, those big blue like barrels. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the ones they ride around.
So they would. My buddy, what he did is in his barn in Illinois, he took that and put some springs on it and some bungee ropes, and essentially you would sit on that with the rope and pull. And you would move, and that was
This is the most redneck thing.
Here's what I tell people is that in Wisconsin, there's not much to do. There's cornfields. You can run through them.
And blue barrels that you put springs on.
You can cow tip. People don't typically like the cow tipping. That's kind of rude to the animal and to the farmer.
So you chose bull riding instead.
Yeah, right. So don't get at me, PETA. Yeah, for a short season.
That is amazing. How old were you?
Goodness, 14?
Oh my gosh, you were freshman. A 14-year-old bull rider.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Wow. Or maybe it was sophomore. I don't know.
How in
somewhere
the world,
in there was a stint into that, in my life.
How in the world did we leave that out of your interview?
We didn't get into the weeds, that's really in the weeds of my life. Video games is another one that's really in the weeds. Those are things that are like
you should write a
past, gone, forgotten.
You should write a book though. My year bull riding.
Yeah, it was
my year as a 14-year-old bull rider.
Yeah, and it was short and sweet.
Speaking of bull riding and rednecks, our guest today is amazing because he's from the country. He's a country boy.
Yes,
and he likes to cook.
He does, and not only does he like to cook, but I have personally eaten his food, and it is top tier.
It
good.
is off. So he made my family some food this year for Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas? Yeah. Looking over to
Yeah.
Christmas.
Was that?
And it was ridiculous how good it was.
Yeah.
It was, honestly, yeah.
It's hard to describe.
His mac and cheese changed my life.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's ruined me for all mac and cheese.
Yeah, you can't have it anymore unless it's from him.
Anymore. Yeah, it is. And he had the beef brisket there. Oh, my word.
Oh,
Thinking
yeah.
about it now makes me happy.
The man knows his way around a grill and meat and good food, for sure.
Yeah. I'm so excited to talk to him.
Yes, and so we should probably introduce who that's going to be. It is Jemell Richardson. He is not only a master chef and a barbecue pit master, as some might call him. I think I saw a video of that one time. And but he's also a small group leader. He's the deacon of men's ministry at our Rolling Meadows Campus. All around great dude. And so you guys are going to have a conversation because everyone has a story, and he has one as well. And so we're going to do that right now. Let's get into it.
Hi, everybody. I'm sitting here with Jemell Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
Jamell, you and I met each other like 6 months ago, and you were immediately one of my favorite people at Harvest Bible Chapel, mostly because I enjoy being friends with large, friendly men.
Yeah.
And you're one of those. But it's been great. You need to tell the people a little bit where you're from.
Well, I'm a debunked master chef. I'm not a master chef, but I do cook.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I just know
I've
how
eaten
to
your
cook.
food.
I know you have.
What makes a master chef a master chef?
Oh, they know a lot of stuff, which I know probably, but I won't mention it. But they know a lot of stuff and techniques that make them a master chef. So
you're just being humble.
I'm trying to, but but I'm okay. I grew up in Chicago, so in 35th and Federal.
What's that? That's right near Naperville, right?
No, that's not Naperville. White Sox Park, across the ways, across the viaduct, is where the expressway splits us open, and this used to be the project building. I was born and raised there. From 22nd to 51st State Street is where a lot of projects was built in Chicago, Illinois, which you probably won't see them now. There's a lot of Starbucks. But, yeah, when I grew up, it wasn't Starbucks. But I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. What was it if it wasn't Starbucks?
It was big buildings with a lot of crime, a lot of not self-motivation, but you need to learn quick. If you don't, you'll get hurt. So I had a pretty extensive family around me. I had cousins, aunties, grandmother.
Did you all live very close to each other in the same kind of?
Okay, the buildings, it started from 3517. And then the buildings, they got to go by numbers. That's how, if you born from Stateway Garden, you would notice that it from 3517 on back. Yeah. And 39th, you'll know, these different Funk City, different areas. They'll understand that you are from there because just by the numbers, you knowing where they from and 10 stories of different things, all these different areas. They're like, yeah, he from there. But it started from 3517. My grandma lived there on the 6th floor. She had, if I'm not counting wrong, probably like 8 kids in one apartment. My uncles.
How big is the apartment?
It was not big, but we fed in there. We fit in the apartment, but my uncle wasn't there. He was in Texas. My other uncle was in jail. My other uncle was there, but he from Richardson went to jail. My mother, my auntie was a lot growner, and my other auntie was gone to Texas as well. And my other auntie was thinking either Texas too as well. So I had a couple of people, they split, but they all come all the time to the house when she was living. She died when I was 5.
Oh, wow.
But she left a foundation in our family that I can say that passed on from far as cooking and stuff like that. So that's why.
Is that where did you first learn how to cook with her?
No, I remember when I was young, I was too young to notice, but I noticed these certain things that on the Sunday, food was cooked. Everybody came. Even my grandmother feed everybody in the buildings. Doesn't matter, you're around the corner. Doesn't matter. They knew she was cooking because they'll smell it.
Yeah.
So they'll come and say, "You cooking, Miss Ethel?" And she'll say, "Yeah, baby, want a plate?" And that's how my grandma was.
My kind of woman.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, but other than that, that's how I got my fill of cooking. My cousin, which is, God rest his soul, he passed, went to chef. My auntie was a great cook. My cousins were great cooks. My mother, a great cook. My other auntie's a great cook.
Yeah.
So
it's in the family.
It's a family full of cooks.
Yeah.
So even they not cooking in the restaurant or whatever, they just cook really well. So, but this is pretty much, if you want to have a cookout in my household, it's a problem. If you can't cook, they'll talk about you. Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, how old were you when you left that area? Did you go to high school and everything through there?
No. Backstory: when my grandmother passed, she's 5. We moved we was moving back and forth. So we went to 79th and Western, which is 79th and Artesian, because my grandma left, she had inheritance, and she left money. So my auntie bought a house.
Yeah.
That house saved my life, because being in that house taught me some type of foundation, because my dad wasn't around as much. Yeah. So my dad wasn't, I knew of my dad, I knew what he was, but he wasn't around to raise me. It's just my mom's.
Yeah.
So she was a single mother doing the best she could, and taught me the best she could, the what she could, because, she didn't finish high school or anything like that, but she taught me what she can teach me.
Yeah. You have brothers and sisters?
No.
Just you?
When she had me, she said I was done. I was the last one. She said, because I was just too much, I guess, for her. But
you're worth 3 kids.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I can say that. I can say that in this. But yeah. And then we moved with my auntie for like 2 years. Then we went back to the projects.
Oh, okay.
For another 2 years. So I left the area that I was at, went back because my mother was living with someone in the projects, and the lady jumped out the window.
Oh my word! She committed
suicide. For
that
what
she was living
with the lady we was living with. Yeah, and my mother.
How old were you?
I could guess like 7, 8.
Wow.
So she tried to keep the apartment, but the apartment house said she was too far behind.
Yeah.
So we had to move back to 79th and Western to my auntie house. My auntie provided a home for a young boy and her sister. And my uncle, which is, he's still living, God rest his soul, I love him. As me watching them, I kind of got a sense of family from my cousin them, because they always taught me how to do things and watch them. So when we all lived in the projects, one of my things my cousin taught me how to is to watch people, watch them very well. Gangs, that was just nothing for me. I knew the gangs. I knew every person in the gang. I grew up with them. Basically, I was like, if you, from that building, they automatically thought you was a gang member anyway. So it's like, okay, I'm a gang member, whatever case you want to call me. But I never had to really gang bang at all. My cousin actually probably protect me a lot more, because he told me that to watch the people around me. And I watched my people around me. When I watched my cousin, how he chooses friends. He chooses friends very wisely. And the same people he chose is the same people we still talk to today. He was in the streets, but he's very wise in the streets. You don't see like too many OGs like that to actually say that I'm wise and I know these streets better. But he's not, he's a grown man, family man, living in Minnesota, done. My other cousin, the same, he'd still live in Chicago, but family man, worked for the railroad. You won't even think he was in the gang, but.
What was it about the gangs that made it so that you didn't get involved with them, or was it just something inside of you that you're like, I don't want to do that?
No, what he told me was watch the guys that actually got the cars and the drugs, and watch me. So I watched them. When I was young, I had watched them. I said, okay, what is all about this attraction that you got the guns, you got all these different things, but afterwards, what you got there after that? what do you have after that? Nothing, basically. You got to watch your back. You got to turn around your back. You got to do all these different things. So I chose to go the other way. I think the Lord's provision chose me to go this way. Because in my story, I could tell you I've been in the worstest places in Illinois and never got touched. That's impossible.
Yeah.
I can go through 55th and Prairie, 55th and Tremont, normal, with different opposition gangs, Mickey Cobras. I was in Motown on 55th. I was in this area over there walking or going to some girl house or whatever or with a friend and never got touched. That's impossible. Yeah. That's the Lord's provision. So
did you grow up going to church?
No. Backstory is that when I listen to a lot of hip hop. I love hip hop music.
Best hip hop.
Nas.
Best.
The best. Nas, The Roots, anything East. Yeah, I still listen to it to this day, and even the Christian rapper, they get that little flair that I'm picking it up, like KB. You got all these different artists that's out there that's spitting game, and I can't sit down. Like I listen to it, and I'm like, okay, all right, So when I listen to hip hop, I thought Jesus and Allah was the same thing.
Yeah.
Until I met my queen. Until I met my wife. My wife was a Christian. Was a Christian before, but I can say she merged with an unequally yoked man and turned me to a Christian, but not turned me to Christian.
Praise God.
Exposed me to being a Christian, but the backstory of that is that she's a warrior because she said, okay, I want to have a Christian family. And I said, okay. She said, do you read the Bible? I said, it bores me. It bores you? I said, yeah, but you can read the Quran, but you can't read the Bible. I said, it bores me. It make me boring. It don't tell me anything. Being an African American, we cleanse to the Muslim side of things, because of the Israelites type of thing. So I kind of went to that way because of my skin color. Didn't understand the biblical test of that. Didn't understand that what our heritage come from Africa and it come from the Bible and different things like that at all. Didn't understand these different things. But it is easy to hear that. But yeah, so that was a week of not talking to me, and she didn't talk to me for a week. She's gonna kill me for this story. She didn't talk to me for a week. So I said, okay.
I'll read the Bible.
I go to church and read the Bible. And anybody know my wife? They know how she's in the Word. She's a strong woman of God, and she's a tough cookie. So,
So, at what point did you start making sense for you?
We went to several churches. And different things, and we kind of went to. My wife was able to walk in the Word back in the day. Yeah. And she said, "Well, let's just pass. Listen to him." And he was saying blah blah blah. He was talking, and he was like, "Yeah." I said, "I want to go visit." I'm like, okay, let's go visit. We drove 40 minutes at the time. Went to, I think they had one in Niles at the time. We went to the Niles location. We met, and listen to him speak. And I'm like, the dude scares me. Literally. Yeah. He's screaming. He scares me. I don't want nobody screaming at me. And that's my spirit saying, yeah, you're in the wrong place, or you're in the right place. You need to leave, or that bad spirit, like, you need to go, hurry up. Kept going. And my wife saying, just kept going. Got myself in a small group. And during this time that we was going through this situation, going to the church beforehand, my family and my wife and I were hitting eye to eye when we first got married. Going back to when we got married 6 months after we know each other.
Oh, yeah.
So I can tell anybody that we was built by grace of the Lord. But my wife was going through some things. I was working in the hotels. I was a chef in the hotels, a supervisor in the Marriott. And my wife was going home. I was gone half of the time. And I wasn't clinging to my wife and being her first, in other words. During this situation, committed adultery in the hotel room, in the hotel place. Didn't tell my wife for 3 years. When we got to Harvest, that conviction kind of hit me, because in the long run, my wife was pregnant. And she was pregnant with my son, Seth, for 5 or 6 months. and then she miscarried.
Oh.
Okay. So when she miscarried, I didn't understand what the Lord was teaching me. And I go back to the story of David. When he had this secret, when the prophet came and said, okay, I'm going to come over here and you doing some wrong and blah, 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 blah. You just tell them everything. And after 3 years, I confessed my wife my sin. It was like, I just told her, yes, she did something just happened yesterday. I confessed my sin. I said, honey, I failed and blah, blah, blah. She was upset, but I was mentally prepared to lose my marriage, but I cleansed my soul. I cleansed my sin. He confessed the sin, faithful and just.
Yeah, forgive your sin.
He forgave me. I'm forgiven. Even if you leave me, I'm still forgiven. I slept on the couch for about a month.
Yeah.
Was going to worship just like usual, in small group like usual. The guy saying, stay strong. If she leave you.
I was going to say that would have been heartbreaking for you or just hard month and also really hard month for her.
It was a hard month for her, for one. For two is that she had to look at herself and see what did she do wrong with the Lord. So she searched the scriptures like crazy during this time. Any other woman probably would just kick me out and say, you leave, go, goodbye. I don't need you. You cheated and stuff. But my wife didn't do that. She searched the scriptures and searched the Lord. Then it was a phantom during the time, but I still say she searched the scriptures and she said she forgave me. And that's when I truly accept Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, during that time when she said she forgave me.
Wow.
She taught me forgiveness.
Yeah.
She taught me what to do now. After that, I got my Redeemer child, which is my son Elijah.
Yeah.
Right after that, I guess a week, 2 weeks, Elijah was like, I'm pregnant again. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So the Lord, the Redeemer, redeemed me, my son again, just by confessing my sin.
Yeah.
So I can relate with David when David says, if you do these things. And now, going through this process, notice that you got to search into self. What do you have a problem with in your soul? Which is like I had a problem with idolatry. So sexual sins, pornography, different things like that. I had that problem. So searching and went through focus groups, was in my small group, accountability brothers. Asked the Lord, always bring guys around me to keep me accountable. God always stayed faithful, bringing my small group with strong men to keep me accountable for whatever case. So the Lord is faithful.
Yeah.
Yep.
He is.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. You have to tell me, though, when you were, I want to know when you met your wife. Where did you meet her?
I met my wife in college. She used to work at the college.
Okay, what college is this?
Illinois. It don't exist anymore. Illinois Institute of Art, Culinary Arts. I was going there to get my second certification to be in culinary arts.
Yeah.
She worked at the school as a accountant. She worked at accountant.
Yeah. And
me being flirtatious as I am, coming in and say, hey, how you doing? I'm like, blah, blah, blah. She won't admit to this, but I said, can I bring you lunch? Because as a culinary student, you can cook food.
Yeah.
So I brought her the macaroni and cheese and fried chicken.
That did it. Seriously, one bite of that mac and cheese, she was like, I'm in love.
She didn't say, she'll tell you, that wasn't it. I'm like, but I think it was. To me, it is. But I met her there, and she worked at the school for a month, and they laid her off. That was weird because I was supposed to meet my wife there. So, yeah, I met her for a month, stayed with her, and within the 6 months, we was married.
Wow.
So I married.
How old were you?
I was 21.
Oh, young man.
I was tired. I could tell anybody I was just tired, but yeah.
Jamell, you're a big guy. Did you ever want to play football?
No, I played basketball.
Did you?
Yeah. I still play basketball.
You're also going to say you're also a tall guy.
Yeah. I played basketball.
Did you play in high school? And all that?
Did. A little bit. I played high school a little bit. But I used to see, because my mom's really didn't have the finance to give me anything or stuff like that. I started working when I was 15.
Yeah.
So I started from McDonald's on in.
Really?
When I was 15.
Was that your first job, working at McDonald's?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Everything. I did everything. I was a drive-through, grill, cook, whatever, sweep floors, lobby, whatever asked me to, I used to do everything. So.
How long did you work there?
2 years.
Wow.
I worked there 2 years when I was there. Yeah. It was
a good job?
I won't change it for the world.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. You know what? I've had lots of friends who've started at McDonald's.
Yeah.
and they're like, it does teach you how to work.
Yeah. It teaches you how to work. It does, though. It does.
That's really good. So you have 2 children now, though?
Yeah.
Okay, and so how old is your oldest?
My son is 15.
Elijah?
Yeah.
And your daughter?
11.
11, and her name is?
Jada.
Yeah. You like having kids?
I love it.
What's the best part of having kids?
Doing something my dad didn't do.
Oh, yeah?
And then, truthfully, the Lord, I didn't have a dad around. My dad, I know of him. I still respect him because as in Christ, we're supposed to respect our parents. So I talk to my son a lot. I say, son, when I took my son to get his first haircut, it was meaningful to me because my dad wasn't there when I got my first haircut.
Yeah.
When I watched my son take his, my wife recorded his first walk, being there as a father, teaching him the gospel, teaching him things that I wish my father couldn't do. That's the special thing about it. Seeing my son play his first football game, going to the games every day and cheering him on no matter if he's doing bad, calming him down because I know he hate to lose.
Yeah.
All these different things that dads can cherish.
Yeah.
I cherish it. So.
Are you a kind father on the sidelines at the football game?
I am. I'm more. No,
Come on, Jamell.
No, I am because I'm kind to people around me.
Yeah,
but
not
Elijah, no.
Not the striped people on the.
No, Elijah. No, it's Elijah.
Okay.
So with my son, I have to calm him down because he's a very passionate person.
Yeah. So
he'll get off the hinges quick.
Yeah.
And I said, that ain't supposed to, Elijah, I'm not screaming through the thing. You can't do that. So he's learning though. He's learning.
What position does he play?
He's a lineman. He's a big boy.
You like it?
He likes it. He likes putting people on their butt. I mean, I think he got that from me before. Act like man, he noticed it like, oh, I'm gonna be just like my dad putting people on his butt,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he loves it. And he actually works out a lot. We play basketball now a lot.
Yeah.
Me and him, so can't wait. So
that's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is one of the challenges, especially in the most communities, but especially in the African American community these days. The fatherlessness is such a huge issue, right? So it's a profound thing to be able to break a cycle.
I won't put it all on the situation. In the African American community, when I grew up, the father was forced out the home because the system forced him out the home.
Okay.
How? Just because the woman, the woman was on the public system.
Yeah.
Right. The system built that the husband can't be there if they're on public systems. You can look it up and see it.
Okay.
It's part of the rules, and a lot of guys probably, I would call them unfit, but they was beat down.
Yeah.
I would love to get these guys to change the masses. Like you can change your life.
Yeah.
And you could be in your son's life. It doesn't matter. You can be in your son's life, no matter what the system says. Yeah. And it's not just the African American community. It could be any community is in the system. The system is built to break families.
Yeah.
And it clearly is.
Yeah, and it's had that effect.
Right. Yeah. Clearly is actually more often in African American, but yeah, the system is built to break our families. So
right. So, like, I came to Harvest, and one of the first things I noticed is that it's a lot of white people.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what is good and what is hard about being like a visible minority in a church like ours?
To be honest, I don't want to go to all black church.
Okay.
There's my reasons. I have my reasons. My wife got a reason. But yeah, I like to be in there. If you're going to be in heaven, you're not going to see just all black.
No, nor all white.
Right.
Yeah,
right. You're not going to see all white. You're going to see multicultural people. You're going to see Indians. You're going to see Chinese. You're going to see whatever. Any believer. The minority thing is to come into Harvest in this type of situation is changing people's mind about what they think about you. In the past, Harvest had that issue trying to relate with the African American consumer. It's changing, but you can tell they still have that little bit in them. They say, but it's changing.
So give everybody a piece of advice. How can they change to be more welcoming to multicultural people? That's a hard question.
No, it's not. Except who they are.
Yeah, it's good.
Because remember, most of these people come in broken just like we are already, but their skin color is just different.
Yeah.
So just accept who they are and be the bride of Christ coming in with your open arms.
Right. Hospitality.
Man. Yeah. Because if you don't do that, they'll run. And that's even in men's ministry, guys that's like going through something. If you're not open arms with them and just say, what's going on, brother? How can we help you as a church? How can a man come around you and pray over you? They're gonna run. And especially in African Americans, they'll run because a lot of African American men do not want to be held accountable for their mistakes. But they do want to be held accountable.
Yeah, I would say that the case about a lot of men.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Although the African American community has, in many ways, taken it on the chin in the States for a long time. So yeah. So I have 1,000 other questions, and they're rolling through my head. You're wearing a polo shirt. Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
Hey,
what is that?
I got to dress out, man. I'm trying to look,
You look really. You do. You look sharp. That's great. So what do you do? So you trained to be a chef, but now you're not doing that.
No.
Professionally or anything like that. What are you doing?
I'm a food service director. So I'm in a retirement community, a nursing home. So I take care of the elderly.
Okay, so I want to know the name of the nursing home so that when I'm old, I can go to the Jamell, where Jamell gets to oversee the food nursing home. That's like the best nursing home anywhere.
No, it's actually, you still got a budget. You still got to go through what they say. You still got things, but you can also have a chance. I have a boss to have a chance to play with the food and and create. He had his time say, hey, Jay, I like to do something for the residents. I need you to do this, and I'll just do that. I have cooked for the residents sometimes. They know I can cook, so I have a good rapport with the residents. It's just the old ones, the new ones, when they come in, they don't know me, but the old ones know. If you talk to them, you can actually get what you need. But yeah, I still got a budget. I still got a kitchen to hold. But
how long have you been doing it there?
I went to healthcare. Been almost 10 years. I got out of the hotel room because it ruins your marriage. Hotels are not built for marriage. It's not built for married people, believers, whatever.
No, and imagine the hours would be really hard, right? Because
not just that.
Everybody's at night.
Not just that. The temptation.
Yeah.
The temptation.
People who are like transient, just.
No, not just that. The temptation is that you're not with your wife. You're not with your husband, right? You're in this place.
Yeah.
10 days, 20 days out of a month, whatever how many days, and you got 4 days off, within. And you with these people that not with their husband and wives.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
So
and they're often a long way away from
exactly,
those
people. And it's acceptable. So I told myself, I don't care if I be a bum. I never go into hotels, country clubs, hotels ever again.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because a number of years ago, I was getting asked to do a number of conferences and stuff, speaking and things. Mm-hmm. And I had a friend who told me, can I give you a piece of advice, Jeff? If you start doing this, don't ever travel alone. And so I was like, oh, it actually makes a lot of sense. And so I started telling them, look, I don't really want a fee for preaching. What I would like you to do, though, is to pay for an extra plane ticket for my whoever was with me. And so for years, man, I've traveled with different people all the time. And it's a great idea. Mm-hmm. Like it really is. Because you recognize a lot of these guys are business travelers and stuff. You do realize the just massive temptation that exists.
Yeah.
And because there are some men who are alone there, and then women who are alone there, and like it feels like it's a fake world in some ways. Like, it's not a home world or anything like that. So I can understand why that would be the case. Yeah. So if I went to the Marriott, I don't get any good food anymore. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know. I've been there in years.
Not like it used to be.
Yeah. No, I ain't been there in years.
Okay, what's the best thing you make? Best food?
You choose.
No, what do you mean you choose? Okay,
no.
Sorry. No, salmon?
No, I murder a salmon, but keep going.
What is your favorite thing to make?
As a chef, if a person tell you I'm great at Italian, that means he can't cook. Period.
That's right. Because I'm good at Italian food, right? You can boil that spaghetti and throw that package.
I'm just being honest. I never, any person asked me this over the years, said, Jay, what you good at? I said, I'm not telling because I don't know.
Yeah.
If you taste my food, you taste anything I make, and you say it's good, that's what I'm good at. If you taste this is awful, that means I'm not good at that.
Let me tell you something that you make that would be awful.
What's that?
Collard greens.
That won't be awful.
Disgusting.
That won't be awful.
No, Jamell, they are. They're terrible.
They're not terrible. You never had my collard greens before. Now you're going to make me.
I tried. Listen, I've tried. I have friends who said, no, Jeff, you'll love it. And so they put it in front of me and I can't do it.
It's okay. I can make it with kale then. You like kale?
Oh, no. What's
Any
wrong
green?
With you? Yeah, I could like greens, but the collard greens.
What about string beans?
Oh, I can do string beans.
So I make it the same way as I make the string beans, same way I make the collard greens. And it's the same.
All right. I believe you. Seriously, I'm not going to. I've eaten your food. I'm not going to question your ability to do it. But yeah. Okay, so now it's time for me to do my lightning round. That means that I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions that have nothing to do with anything, but I want to know. Mm-hmm. They might have to do. Favorite sports team?
Bulls.
Best player ever on the Bulls?
Michael Jordan, man. Come from the era of Michael Jordan.
Have you ever met Michael Jordan?
No, I haven't.
Do you want? If I could arrange that, would you do
it? Yeah. And my son. Meet the GOAT.
I can't. Do you think LeBron James is anywhere near as good as Michael Jordan?
No, he's probably number 4 to me.
Wow. You just said that.
Yeah.
All right. Who's
you got
Jordan number 1.
You got to put Kobe Bryant before him.
And then?
You got to put number 2. You got to go to the greats. Either Michael Jordan, you got to go with either Bird or Larry Bird or Magic Johnson. You got to go with Kobe Bryant, then LeBron James. You can't go with LeBron. Kobe Bryant was just like the Michael Jordan, but you got to do that. So that's me.
All right. What position you play in basketball?
Power forward center.
Yeah. Are you got a good fadeaway?
No.
Are you? I imagine you rebound a lot.
Yes, I do, and block shots a lot too.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, you can move a few people around down in the paint, I would think.
Yes, I could.
Yeah, and that would be the strength of your game, or are you a good shooter?
I can shoot a little bit too.
Okay, if I put you up by a 3-point line, are you going to hit that shot?
50-50, yes.
That's amazing, 50-50.
Don't doubt the gamer because I will surprise you and I will hit one on you. So.
Okay, could you take me off the dribble?
Yes.
What?
I could.
Probably. My knees are shot. But even before, I was always slow.
Me too, but I will take you off the
dribble. But you can do, Probably you can do a cross. You can cross me over, can you?
No.
Will you make me look stupid where I fall backwards?
No, I won't do that. No. I would not do that. I love you too much.
All right, how'd you go to Bulls games?
Once with my son.
All right, who'd they play?
This is when they played the Grizzlies, and my son was like 9. Okay. I took my son to his first Bulls game.
All right. Yeah. Now, who do you listen to in hip hop now?
I still listen to Nas. I still listen to the greats. I still catch like KRS-One.
Anyone new that you like?
Barely. Only ones I like that's new. I like mostly the Christian hip hop that's new.
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar, probably listen to him. Yeah. Who else? J. Cole, I might listen to him a little bit. But I watch what they.
You listen to a lot of Metallica too, right?
No. No.
Guns N' Roses, Metallica.
No.
How old are you?
43.
43 years old. Okay, yeah. So child of the 80s.
Yeah.
What kind 79. Of 80s?
78, I was born.
All right. Jamell, I'm so thankful that you were willing to do this.
Hey, I enjoy myself. I'm nervous.
I could talk to you forever.
And I didn't even tell you half of the stuff.
I know. I'm going to have a Jamell part 2.
No, you won't.
Where because this is just the introduction to Jamell.
Yeah.
And then Jamell part 2 is where we really get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
About how. Hey, one last question. Actually, it might be longer question than you thought. You talked to me one time. And you mentioned, because, there's all sorts of challenge. A lot of people out here in the Chicago suburbs, they read about some of the gang violence and some of the shootings and stuff in Chicago. Why do you think that there's a rise in that right now? Is there something changed in the culture, or is that help people understand that at all, or is it just like, I don't know.
When I grew up, we had, even the gangs had organizations. They had leaders. They had people to point to. They had people to hold them accountable, just like as believers. Yeah, we got the Lord. We got guys around us to hold us accountable. When you took the people off the street, you took the accountability of people to keep these younger guys accountable for what they do. So it's basically when you take a father out of the home, it's the same thing. You taking a man of authority away from them. No matter what you do, how you do it, the authority is gone. So they have no sense of authority at all. So, prime example, if you take my son away, if you take you away, if so happen the Lord calls you, right? You leave, but your son is at the age of 10 or 11. What type of example he'll have growing up to from 10 to 14, whoever's outside on the street. Yep. So if he got his examples as any person outside on the street, that's the example you're going to have. He's going to grow to be whatever that person is. He didn't have a person tell him, watch that person, see what he do. He going to analyze that person, what he got. The culture says he got bling chains, he got all these different things, and that's what the kids want. They have, because remember, the kids don't have that. Yeah. And the system has built a lot of group homes, is what it is. Is group homes actually tearing up the system, and it's only one person or two people in that group home. And a lot of group homes are sexist, guys that's not teaching them biblical anything at all. Yeah. They have no control over them. They ain't their fathers. They don't respect them. And they also got the people that's in the group home got hidden sins as well. Yeah. So the whole system is destroyed.
Seems like a good place for the gospel.
Yes.
Yeah, as they all are. God bless you. You're such a guy. I love you very much. This has been a real delight to talk to Jemell. If you see him around, you can't miss him. He is the tall, large, black friend, and he would love, I'm sure, to say hi to you. He goes to Rolling Meadows Campus, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and he'll be around, and if you're lucky enough, you'll get something from him to eat.
Yes, sir.
It's been great having you guys join us. We'll catch you next time.
Yes, sir.